Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Xavier's Journey. I hope everyone had a blessed and wonderful day. And I hope tonight that you'll enjoy this show. I have a good guest tonight.
Hey, you're muted.
God. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Tonight, this is my friend, Troi Hawkins. She's a financial professional and focused on financial expenses. So, Troy, how are you doing tonight, girl?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing better than I was earlier, that's for sure.
Well, tonight we should have a good time.
Yeah, we need to liven this thing up because yeah.
So, let me ask you this. So, give us a little background who Troy is before we go
So
into the interview.
okay, so I am a mom. I am a single mom from Harlem. I was born in the Bronx, but I was raised in Harlem.
Hmm.
And then I went to Virginia State University. I'm a beauty professional. I'm a licensed beauty professional. I'm a licensed financial professional. Um, Something fun that I love to do is like my favorite hobby is like art and roller skating. So I love to roller skate
That's me
and
too.
I love roller skating.
And
That's like
ice skating.
yes, right? So every time I hear a song that is definitely a roller skating song, I'm roller skating in my head. So that's how much I love it. Um,
Right.
but yeah, other than that, I enjoy doing beauty. So um, yeah, and I became a financial professional in 2020
Hmm.
during the pandemic when everybody else when I had to pivot because I lost my business. So my business basically ended once we couldn't be in anybody's faces. So
Yes.
I had to pivot. And the reason why I had to pivot was because we couldn't do face to face. So I had the option I could have done like Zoom and things like that. A lot of makeup artists transfer their businesses over to Zoom. But what I did was I went and finalized my life insurance license and I just started studying finance. So at the time, I had a partner that was deep into finance, and I took an interest in it because I could basically see the potential and actually also realize that that's where I was lacking at in the financial space. So when
Right.
you realize it, it's like, wow, my finances. Everyone really realized where their finances were during the pandemic.
Right.
So it hit me like a ton of bricks. The day of the pandemic, my son was playing with my phone and he was playing Talking Tom, and he used my last $600 in my bank account. And that was it. Like that was all I had in my account. And I was like, yo, this whole lifestyle of like always wondering about my money, my finances. So
Right.
I just delved deep in financial products, financial tools, ways to build wealth, things like that. And when I was 18, my father passed away. I was in college. My father passed away, and
Right.
I'm a product of, inheriting money through life insurance. So when he passed away, he left me and my brother $1 million. And so with that 1 million, because we're a product of our environment, we ended
Right.
up blowing all of our money. So in
Right.
18 months, I was broke. I didn't have any money left. And it just comes from, when you have a lot of money, you're young. I'm also a people pleaser. Everyone was coming to me asking me for money, asking to borrow. I was also around adults who knew nothing about money. So
Right.
I ended up basically blowing all the money. Now, a lot of it I spent frivolously, but I had help. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like people were coming out the woodworks, people that I didn't talk to, people still owe me money, okay, from
Mhm.
years. So when you blow money, like, so when my brother was scheduled to get his, because he was not 18 yet. So
Right.
I was trying to coach him, like, do not spend that money. Like, don't spend your money. You are going to inherit a $500,000. And he got more money than me because he was actually getting checks before he actually got his big check. So he ended up getting paid way more than me. But it's almost like when you know you got money coming, you're going to keep spending because it's like, I got money. So long story short, we both ended up back in square one, you know, no money, broke. But at the time, Harlem was on sale. So you could buy a brownstone at that time for $1.
Mhm.
All you needed to do was
Yeah.
have to renovate the properties. So basically, we could have bought the block. You know what I'm saying? But instead, I was on 125th Street buying Timberlands, Pele Pele leathers. I had like two of those. I was in Moni's every day buying clothes, like just being frivolous, and I have nothing to show for it. I stayed in relationships way longer than I needed to stay in them because I didn't have money. So
Right.
now, what I like to talk to people about is like financial trauma and how that caused, that even though I was left so much money, because we're a product of our environment and we don't know how, like, Black people come from financial trauma from birth, like almost from birth. Like,
If you're not taught, you just
right.
just spend it.
You
You're like,
just,
where's my money?
right. And so now I talk about financial trauma and how it impacts communities and how it impacts people as a whole, because whether you grew up with money or you didn't grow up with money, you still can suffer from financial trauma, right?
Yes.
So that's really just, kind of like the thing that I'm starting to talk to people about, like when I show up to places like this and I show up to speak for public speaking engagements. I really
Mhm.
want to spread the word about financial trauma, because after I spent all that money, I lived with that trauma of spending that money for years.
Right.
Hold on one second. No, you could check it. Okay. All right. So like basically, so that's who I am. Like, I'm a financial professional, I'm a public
Mhm.
speaker, I'm an activist for wealth and wealth management, all those things.
Your son wants to be an actor.
he, he needs to be, for sure.
So let me ask you this. So what it says interest in final expenses planning.
Right.
What drew you to expect specialize in financial expenses planning, and how
Mhm.
do you develop the expertise in the area because of what happened, what you just said, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So like everything that happened with me with my dad, like I remember the eureka moment I had. I've always been somebody who's been like connected spiritually. I'm not like a really religious person, but spiritually, it's almost like I'm just connected. I'm like a vessel. So one day, I was going through financial hardship again. Like, it's kind of like a repeating cycle. I was in a relationship that was like, it was a good relationship. It just was it was a lot of financial things happening.
Right.
And, people don't understand that when you break up, most couples break up because of finances. So when I was going through that trauma and just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and how I wanted to move forward, because I also do credit repair and I also do help people with business structure, because I was like I said, a beauty professional who I delve deep in how to build businesses, how to build business credit, how to help beauty professionals start building themselves as businesses and showing up as businesses, as opposed to showing up as an individual who's coming to get a check. No.
Right. Right.
So I was just like, this is crazy, because I was going through my meltdown. I was crying. I was like really trying to figure out what was going on. And I asked like for a sign, or I asked like, God, what should I do? And then I remember feeling something that just, like a flash of my father's face, and then a flash of like inspiration. And I was like, I'm a life insurance agent. Like, I'm a like I you know, I want to help families so that they never go through the things that I've gone through. I
Hmm.
never want people to go through that type of thing because, you know, again, back to the whole financial trauma thing. It
Right.
is very traumatic. You can literally thrust your family into financial trauma by not even having insurance, by not teaching your children financial literacy so that they don't blow the money that you've been paying into with your hard earned money. You can thrust your family into financial trauma just because you don't have certain things set up
Right.
for them.
Right.
So I was just like, wow, this is something like I'm a crusader. Like every time somebody looks me in the eye, I'm like, you got insurance? Like, I don't even be like, have you started financially planning? Nah. You have insurance? Because I'm not going to keep wasting
But
no
it's,
time.
but
I
it's,
want to,
but it's, but it's important because if you don't, it's important to know for
yeah.
real. It's important to know because most people don't know this. It's
Mhm.
like I find in our community, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sound like I can't hear myself. Sorry. The black community, if you're not taught early how to you like your son is how okay how old okay when I met you your son was 5.
Like 4.
Okay,
Mhm,
4. So if
mhm,
you don't teach him at 4 how to go to the bank, how to take that $10, open a bank account and go to the bank every week to
mhm,
put money in,
mhm.
so that you would train him when he gets 8, he's 12. Then he
Uh,
says he's 11. So by 18, 19, he'll know how to
right.
go put the money aside or just save some money for himself and
Uh-huh.
pay yourself and put $25.
Right. And that's something that also really needs to be hammered because even now he gets a dollar, he want to spend it. He want to go directly to somewhere to spend it. But then I watch him sometimes and he'll leave money for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. And I'm like, he'll ask me for money. I'm like, you got money sitting right over there that you have not touched. And I'll actually watch and see how long he's left it there. And he knows how to save it. But I feel like also, like, for me, I don't want to teach him how to go get a bank account and how to save money in a bank account. Like, I want to teach him how to, like, create like a custodial account for him, like, things like that. Stockpile is it's literally like a gift card, but it's a stock card, and you can just put their money towards stocks as
Right.
opposed to putting it in the bank because the bank really has no returns for you. So and then you can see literally if you leave your money in there long enough, you'll start accruing fees that you don't even know existed because because you're using the bank. They're literally charging you fees to use their institution, their facility. You know what I mean? So
But even I know that I'm not that old, but years ago when I was working like 18, I was 18 to 20 something, my early 20s. You would go to Citibank, go to any of the bank, they would give you could put money in, like, say if you wanted to put $500 in a CD, it will roll over if you leave it in there for about a year or 2.
yeah,
I don't think it exists anymore.
yeah. So that's one of the products that people. There's so many other new things and new ways to save. I mean, obviously you have your IRAs, you have your Roth IRAs, you have all these things. Um, you have people now use more of their 401ks. I mean, I personally am never going to use a 401k ever again
Mhm.
because when the pandemic hit, I lost 80% of my money in my 401k. And that's money that I worked for 10 almost yeah for about 10 years that I had been accumulating, but as soon as the pandemic hit, I had nothing in that account.
Right.
So I don't really like accounts like that, but like Roth IRAs, things like that, those are, they are more, but also life insurance. Like, you create a life insurance plan, you it's tax-free money. Whenever you want to borrow from your insurance, I mean, yeah, from your insurance, that's tax-free money, because
Right.
these other accounts, they have they have capital gains tax. They have, it becomes a taxable event if you touch them before a certain time. And
Right.
with insurance, it's literally free, tax free. This is money that, even, and that's why it's not talked about too, because the IRS can't put their hands in it. You know what I mean? So they don't want to tell everybody about that. So now life insurance, and the reason why I'm doing final expense is because, and I think you started asking me that question. We got off on a little bit of a tangent, but or maybe a big tangent. But the final expense is really dear to me because I was 18, right, when my father died. So with with this company that I'm with now, is a very, I feel like it really protects the clients,
What's the
because
what's the name of the company?
so it's called Senior Life Insurance Company, and I'm wearing the shirt right now. What they do is they really protect the families. Like, a lot of insurance companies will not pay out at a decent enough time for you to bury your loved ones. This company pays out very quickly. You don't always need a death certificate. There's advocates that represent the family,
Mm-hmm.
and also save families 30 to 80% on final expenses. So, like the casket, the urns, all of those things that really can tear a family's financial um, wealth, they just tear them apart financially. All of those things we actually help the family save. Okay. Now, I remember being 18. I don't even know what I spent on my father's funeral. I didn't have any control over that. But if there was an advocate, the advocate probably would have made sure that I was in the know of what was going on. So
Right.
imagine being 18, not really knowing I'm here. I'm in charge because my name is on all the paperwork, but I'm just signing papers. I don't even know what's going on. I don't know how much my father's casket cost. I remember that he didn't even have a headstone for a few years. Like, my aunt just bought him a headstone. So
Wow.
now it's not like I didn't have the money to do that, but those things is what one of the reasons why I really like this company, is because those things are taken care of, because the advocate is there. It's called the wish team. And the wish team actually takes the beneficiary and goes and price shops at funeral homes, to make
Hmm.
sure that the funeral homes are giving these people the proper treatment, and also like the proper pricing. You've seen caskets. We got caskets from the Rolls Royce of caskets to the most basic caskets, and they're only $2,000, no matter what. So no
Right.
matter which casket is picked, you can send your loved one off beautifully for $2,000. You don't, I mean, because those things are being purchased by wholesale anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
a lot of those things are really expensive, and we really want to save the families. There's a whole bunch of living benefits. It's also whole life. So the premiums will never change as long as you lock in your premium. That's going to be your premium until you pass away.
Right.
So that's why I really like final expense, because it really helps save the families lots of money. Well, this company, not all final expense companies do that.
So with this company, it teaches you how to do. So you sit down with the family, how to prepare for the funeral.
Every time I sit down with a family, the first thing we talk about is how legacy and how we can help them. So Legacy is the program, and we use Legacy basically to help the families and tell them, there's a step-by-step program, like literally, this company will take care of your beneficiary. We talk about, we really get down to the nitty gritty. Like, if you were to pass away today, whoever your beneficiary is, what will they be doing? How are they going to be taking care of your final arrangements? Is there a savings? Is there money? Like, what are, we want to really get to the nitty gritty. And then what we do is we tailor a plan to the family and the family's needs. Like, the average funeral is 15K.
Right.
So if you get a policy that you can, depending on your health, now there's no medical, but we can still get most people approved.
Right.
And depending on your health, you're going to pay a certain amount: height, weight, age. Those are the three main things. We want to make sure that we can get you on a plan that is, financially, uh, sound, or like makes sense for you financially. And that's basically it. Like, we sign them up for the legacy program. If there's an older woman who may be losing her hearing, there's living benefits for that and discounted things for that. There's 24/7 telehealth. So you can
Mm.
always be able to call a doctor if your doctor's not available, and get prescription drugs over the phone, and speak to a doctor 24/7. So like, I don't know any companies that really take care of their members. I really
Yeah.
don't know any companies like that. And there's going to be some additions going on very soon, where they're also going to be filling prescriptions for the members as well. So you won't even have to go and get your prescriptions filled. They'll come
That's
directly to them. So it's a great company.
right.
Great company.
So let me interview you a little bit.
All right now. Here we go.
Look, we've been friends for years.
Yeah, for sure.
This is what I liked about both of us, because we both did. You did makeup, I did hair. Pandemic. Well, I did hair for 38 years last January. I
Mhm.
was sick of hair. I was
Yeah.
sick of hair.
Mhm.
And I never thought, I had one Jewish client. I used to do her hair, and she used to say, Xavier, I can see you having your own talk show.
Mhm.
And I'm
Mhm.
like saying, what talk show you want me to have?
You
Because
can definitely do it.
it's like I couldn't grasp that I was going to get me a show. And then here we go. I have a show. It started on
Right.
my birthday, but
Mhm.
it's like I don't miss doing hair. People are still asking me, Xavier, you still doing hair? No, because if I do hair right now and you sit in my chair, I'm charging 200. People don't want to pay them.
Yeah.
I've always charged 150 to do
Mhm.
people's hair, and then when pandemic came.
Mhm.
Remember when they shut down New York City?
Yes, they did.
We opened in June.
Mhm.
Everything went up.
Right.
So that
Mhm.
$20. Okay, I used to go in the beauty supply store with say $50. Buy the color, buy this, buy that, and I would come home maybe like $10. Not anymore. It would go over the $50. So
Right.
I'm going to the store to buy certain things for that client. Why you can't pay me what I'm supposed to ask?
Yeah, because people don't understand that you're actually getting ready for them way before you even start working on them. So like, if there's products that you need, you have to go out and purchase those things. And a lot of times what I found was I was breaking even when I was doing a lot of the customers. So I had to really figure out what was I going to do. So that's why I really was starting to focus more on corporate
Right,
gigs and TV and film, because I know that my work was going to be truly appreciated, and I was actually going to see it for years and years to come, because it's going to be on publications and on television. So I would be able to see it and really reap the benefits of it. And my name would be in the credits. Like, what's bigger
right,
than that? Like, your name in the credits is
right,
amazing. So, and I remember being in beauty school and being like, oh no, when I'm done with beauty school, I'm going to be working in TV and film.
right.
And the week that I graduated, I got a call. So it was like I pretty much manifested that whole thing. But once the pandemic hit, all of those things shut down. And then just recently, we ended up, the strike happened. So there was suffering again, in that whole,
Right, right.
there we are again, suffering again. So it's like, my business pretty much is recession proof. It's, I can do insurance all day, every day, So
So funny. My father did that when he first came from Jamaica. He did that, and then he got a job at the hospital. So I think he used to do both of them. And then one day, years ago, I had some guy that had some perfect insurance, and I called my father and I did a three-way, and I said, Daddy, can you let him interview you? You interview him and find out is this is a good insurance for me? And it
Right.
was perfect. So if anything happened to me, money can go to my family. Trust
Absolutely.
fund would have went to my nieces and nephew or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
It's important, and I think family, mothers, like even
Mhm.
like young mothers like you, sit down with your children early before you get 65 and 80 years old. You can't remember where you put your policy. Sit down now. I'm serious. I've heard people say to me, my mom died. I can't find her policy. I can't find her will. We looked in the bookshelf and we found it in her favorite book. Sit down with your family early so the children would know what to do. I wouldn't
So
like,
people know what to do. One thing about Black families is that talking about money is so taboo. Like, you can't talk about money. You're not allowed to have conversations about it. People are very superstitious. They feel like, if I get life insurance, someone's going to end up killing me and trying to get the insurance and things like that. We're in a day and age where investigations don't, like, insurance companies, they are really adamant about investigations. They're going to investigate. So I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to go to jail for $20,000, because most people really just get like the bare minimum of insurance. And the other thing is, like you said, yes, put it somewhere where somebody can find it, because I've seen situations where people are tearing up the house looking for the policy, can't find it, now got to go pay to get the information. So that's so much trauma. Like, it's so much trauma over and over and over again, because people are just not preparing properly, So I agree. Like, it's one of those, and then also it's not a really easy sell. Most people don't want to buy anything that they can't hold, tangibly, like they can't hold on to it. But it's like, if you build up enough cash value in a whole life insurance policy, you'll be able to purchase a house. Like, why? Like, if the kid is young, if you get a young adult, you start paying for that policy while they're young. Think about it. Young people, they're healthy. They don't have any ailments, most young people. So their insurances are rather cheap. Like, I just did a policy for a young lady and her two kids. She's not paying no more than $200 for their policies, and she was paid up for the year for both of them.
right.
So imagine if you use your tax money every year to pay off your insurances every year, and you don't have to worry about them at all.
So what is the how much is the policy depending on the family, right?
Depending on the person's height, weight, and age, right? And also their health. So if you are someone who's on a lot of medications, you'll probably get some sort of insurance. With my company, what we do is we give you some sort of insurance. You may have a waiting period, but you're still locked in for the legacy program, which is excellent, because that legacy program is going to make sure that your family still don't pay what they was going to pay if you didn't have any insurance at all. And
Right.
most people do live throughout the waiting period. That's, a huge percentage of people do outlive that waiting period. But once people hear waiting period, they're like, I don't have any insurance, which is not true, because then you actually technically do have insurance. If there's an accident and you were to pass away through a freak accident, you have accidental death,
Right.
which is attached to the policies.
Okay. Wow.
It's a lot, right?
It's funny. It's a lot. No, it's funny, but it's not funny
Right.
because other cultures buy insurance as soon as the child is born.
It's born. It's born. It's
We
born.
don't do that.
No.
We
But I will say, according to LIMRA, right? Um, they actually have determined that Black people do buy insurance. We don't keep the insurance. So, like, we'll buy it, but we'll just let it lapse and keep letting it lapse. Now, every year that you let your policy lapse, you're eligible for less insurance at a higher cost. So you're going to end up paying more, and getting less. And then what happens is if you do that too many times, what they're going to do is they're going to start looking at your medical history and
Right.
they want to know. And most people who I want term because I want to get, and you 69 and you're trying to get term, they want to know what's going on.
What's
Why
really
do you want so much money? Because you ain't want this insurance years ago, but now you too old for insurance, but you want the highest death benefit. Now, if you're a healthy, older individual, let's say around 60 and up, there's a possibility that you can get insurance, a term policy, but you got to be healthy. Like you got to be healthy.
nothing wrong with you?
No medications. And some companies will accept diabetics, but you can't be taking insulin.
Okay.
Okay. Some companies will take your pre-existing condition, but for the most part, you're not gonna get that because what you should have done was gotten it while you were healthy. Um, you know what I'm saying? So the other good thing about this company is that we take people with HIV and AIDS. We also handle incarcerated individuals as well. So what company will take an incarcerated person, which is
Right.
also that's a high risk individual.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So right. Okay, yes. So the job information. You want the job information?
Not yet. I mean, we can post it later on.
Okay.
So let me ask you another question. So hold on 1 minute. So the importance of a final expense planning. Why is it the final expense planning is important for individuals and their families? What are the potential financial complications of having a plan in place?
Okay, so if you don't have a plan, let's start with if you don't have a plan in place.
Hmm.
We talked about financial trauma. We talked about how you could easily put your family at risk for financial trauma. That's number one. One of the main things I say is a strategy. And I like to, as a financial professional, we're taught to build strategies. At least that's what I'm a financial architect, right? I help
Right.
you build a financial plan for your loved ones, for yourself and your loved ones. And
Right.
I always talk about insurance stacking, right? It's a term that I coined this term. So if you hear this anywhere else, they copied off of me. So it's called insurance stacking, right? Because you want to get it according to your lifestyle. And everyone should have a burial policy. And the reason why I say everyone should have a burial policy, because if you do have insurance,
Hmm.
and let's say your policy is about $50,000 and you
Right.
don't have a policy that includes a legacy program, you're going to take that 50,000, your beneficiary is going to take that 50,000 to the funeral home. And because you may be in mourning, you're going to be mourning, you're not going to be able to make, you know, rational decisions. And
Hmm.
you do have a $50,000 policy. Most people do not designate money for the funeral. They
Right.
separate money for their beneficiaries, but they do not ever set aside money for their final expenses. So if you
Hmm.
have a financial final expense policy, that policy is literally for those expenses.
Right.
Smart people are going to be like, I want something that's just going to take care of that. So now my beneficiaries can reap the benefits of that bigger policy that I've been paying into my entire life. So
Right.
let's say that my brother and I, we got $500,000. And remember, I said I don't know how much they spent on the funeral. So that
Hmm.
means that a portion of my money went directly to the funeral that he didn't have to pay for because he was too young.
Right.
He didn't have to put out money for the funeral. That's how sometimes you see them people fighting at the funeral home because I bet you it's something financial.
Right.
If it ain't other drama going on, I can guarantee you 90% of those problems where you see these people fighting outside the funeral home or the family is going at it,
Because of money.
it's because of money. You now why do I if I'm the responsible beneficiary, why I gotta put out my portion of the benefits to the
Hmm.
funeral? The person who is not responsible, they dip off. That's happened so many times.
A family, well, I was talking to someone recently and they said to me, why don't families, like, say you have a policy, say you're the beneficiary,
Mhm,
and there's a lot of money there. Why
mhm,
don't you give the oh, let me ask you this. Okay, so this is what the person asked me to ask you. So I'm giving you a good scenario.
mhm,
So you have someone that bought a policy. It's a lot of money.
mhm,
In the midst of that, all that money, is it possible that a person can give you money while they're they're living before they
mhm.
pass, or they have to pass for the person to get the money?
So if it's a whole life insurance policy and there's been enough accumulation of cash over the years, or they've set it up in a way where they can get paid, depending on the type of insurance policy it is. Most whole life insurance policies have a cash account attached to them. That cash account is for the living. That's for
Hmm.
you to use while you're alive, right? And some people who are advocates for term insurance, which I am not here nor there, because, like I said, I told you, I like to insurance stack. If I
Right.
meet a family and I say, I'm going to build you a plan, you should have a term and you should have a whole. The
Right.
whole is going to be for your living benefits, and the term, which because the word term means for a term, a short term, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. Some companies will do 35 depending on it. You're only going to have that policy for up to 30 years.
Right.
Most people outlive that 30 years. Now, if
Hmm.
you outlive your policy, you can keep your term policy, but every year it's going to the premium is going to go up every single year until you decide I can't afford this anymore. I have to just let it go.
Right.
So if you outlive that, this is just in case I do not live within these 30 years. I have a huge death benefit that I can transfer to my family.
Right.
Now, with whole life, I can use the actual money in the account that I have built up, and you can use that for your kids, vacations, pay off some bills,
Hmm.
because you also still have a death benefit. Now, the loan is going to come out of the death benefit if you do not pay it back. Most people are not going to pay it back. So this just going to come from the death benefit, but you don't lose because you have a death benefit. So let's
Right.
say you have $150,000 death benefit and then 20 years of accumulation of money, and you want to go buy a house and you like 49. Now I got my down payment for my house. And you other communities, what they do is they buy multiple whole life insurance policies. And they use those cash accounts in those whole life insurance policies to fund their businesses, to fund family things. They understand the importance of whole life.
Right.
So that is one of the main things why people, you can use it for, to your question, you can use it before the person dies. If you have a whole life, yes, you can use the money that has been accumulated into the account. The misconception is that you'll be able to borrow directly from it like that, and that's a misconception. Certain policies will allow you to put money in and you'll be able to borrow within 2 weeks without damaging your accumulation interest rate. Certain policies. So it really is important for people to understand what type of policies they have, but most importantly, understand what type of lifestyle you live before you buy a certain type of policy, because these policies should be going according to your lifestyle.
Right. It's important because through the years I've seen a mess. They can't find the will. They can't find a state. They If someone was in charge, they're not. It's like the family will go apart, depart from each other and have fights and go into court because of
Yeah,
money. I'm like, oh my god.
probate. Yeah.
So do you sit down with, say that you have a wealthy guy, he got 8 kids.
Yeah.
Do you sit down with him to mark down each money that he's leaving for each person,
Yeah.
or it's done how it?
Yeah. So you can list as many beneficiaries as you want, as all your beneficiaries. There's a difference though between primary and secondary, right? So your primary beneficiaries are going to get the benefit primary. They're going to get it first, right? Now the secondary means basically those primary beneficiaries have to be gone before the secondary beneficiaries can get that money.
You have to die first.
They pretty much have to be not available in order for the secondary beneficiaries to get it. So if, let's say they either die or you can't find them or something like that, now the secondary beneficiaries get it. Now if it's young children, you have to add a custodial, someone that you trust to be able to hold on to that money and be able to divvy it out or wait until they're 18 because they won't get the money until they're 18. Like I said, my brother didn't get his until then. But
Oh,
somebody that is he's actually turning 29 now. I was like, what? Jesus. I can't believe it. I'm like, he's turning 29. This is
oh,
crazy.
you're getting older too.
No, honey, I'm getting younger.
Mm-mm. Listen, I'm 55, and I'm like, you know me. Look, you have known me through the years. I always used to color my beard. I'm trying to embrace this gray. Trying.
I'm trying to embrace mine. I have a whole gray streak under here. Do you see that? That's gray. And before I'm probably 50, this is all gonna be gray.
What in your family you gray early?
No. That's the crazy part.
That might be a wisdom pat.
Baby, I've been through so much, I wouldn't even be surprised. Okay. I would not be surprised if this is all just through, you know what I'm saying?
Because when I used to do women's hair and men's hair, I used to find, even like with me,
Like
this is
little random grays.
right, like right here. This is my wisdom. That's
Yeah.
the most gray I have. And then when you look in the rest, you're like saying you ain't got no gray.
No,
But
I
when I
got
see
gray all through
look,
here.
when I see my siblings, they all salt and pepper, and still have black in it, but it's mainly. So I said,
Mhm.
while y'all gray, I'm gonna go back to my blondes, and I'm gonna be.
Yeah, that's why I've actually been this gray for a very long time, for like 10 years. That's why I wore blonde hair so much. I think when we met, I had blonde.
Yeah, and then you went to braids, different
Yeah,
braid colors.
exactly. So, um,
So
yeah,
you do a lot of seminars or workshops, or you go visit people's house to educate.
to educate them. Like anytime anyone asks me like how you asked me to show up, I show up. Anytime I'm out and about, if you look me in my eye, we gonna have a conversation about life insurance. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, this is what I do. I love, I want to help families. Like my mission right now is to help 200 families a month to help them get financially secure. I mean, people don't even question car insurance. They don't question. First of all, you can't get on the road without car insurance because I believe that a lot of people would drive without it if it wasn't a law that said you had to have like car insurance before you drove. But they also don't question these big companies like Apple when Apple charges them $13 a month. You may never break your phone, but the thing is that if you do, you have a cushion that's going to help you take care of that problem if you do. So that is what life insurance is about. It's like we're not telling you that you're going to die. You're not, getting a policy does not create doom. Like it shouldn't create doom every time. You really should be talking like more people should start talking about the living benefits of having life insurance as
Right.
opposed to talking about the death part because nobody wants to talk about death
No.
at all. But at the end of the day, it's the most inevitable thing in life. It's going to happen. And people really seem to think that they can control when that's going to happen. When those days, we know our birth date, but we don't know our death date.
No, nobody knows.
And you can't control when that is going to happen. I've had a woman tell me, I will not bury my daughters. I will not, my daughter will bury me. I will not bury my daughter.
And then she'll get sick, and then she'll be burying her daughter.
And she'll be looking at me like I should have at least, your daughter's young. Why not protect her? You know, you love her so dearly. The first thing you should be thinking about is protecting her, not talking this nonsense that has nothing to do with nothing.
It's true.
You
It's
know,
true.
so people really need to get real about it. And I realize just like this year that I'm gonna stop like sugarcoating the conversation and really just get real about it. Like when your mother dies, what are you gonna do?
Right.
When she
Or,
dies, what do you do?
or if you die,
If you
or
die,
I
what do
die.
you do? Yeah, you have to get real with people because I noticed that our people, we need to hear it straight. We need to hear it real. You can avoid it all you want. There is a such thing called avoidance. You can
Mhm.
avoid death as much as you want. You can not fly in planes. You cannot take public transportation. You can avoid all of those things. You can eat properly. But when your time comes, your time is coming and you ain't going to know. And you're going to leave people stuck and messed up financially because you didn't prepare them for that. Most people think they're going to go to they're going to donate their bodies to science and they're going to, leave my body in the morgue, let the hospital deal with it. Okay.
No, but you see, that's why even like in church, I've seen the most dysfunctional churches. Some of them are churches paid off. Everything is fixed, even the burial. Everything is done. But then you have, when you flip the coin, a lot of them, the wife is stuck, the husband is stuck, this one's stuck. They
Yeah.
don't even know where. And then they have to ask the church,
For the money, for help,
or what's that website that people use to get money?
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Yes.
Someone told me this last year. Family member died. She didn't. They couldn't find a policy. They had to run. They had to. Um, the funeral parlor took the body, but they
Uh-huh.
had money,
Say
so
it
they had
again.
the. It's not, no, it's not funny.
No,
The
because it's so sad.
No, look, the situation is funny, but not the person. So the coroner came to the house. They did it. She died at the house, and the funeral parlor took the body. The body stayed there for 3 months because
Because they
they need
can't
their
pay
money.
it.
They need their money, and
The
they couldn't
funeral home
find.
is
And hold
not
on,
the funeral home is not going to start any of the arrangements until you can make some sort of payment. And you have a lot of companies that will not pay you out for months. The bodies is just waiting to be buried.
and that's where all the money is. The funeral parlor, they have to fix you up, and then the service, and then put you in the grave. That's a lot of money.
Obituaries and the clothes, and with this company, all the beneficiary has to do is show up with the clothes for the loved one.
And
It's
they
done.
do everything. So they do everything, the whole funeral and
They
everything.
do everything.
Okay.
They go and the which team goes and talks to the funeral homes. They'll price shop 3 different funeral homes. And what I really love is that there is a booklet called the Final Wishes Planner, and that planner actually helps people map out what it is that they want, and
Hmm.
their loved ones are not confused about anything.
Right.
It's written down. I wrote it. It's right here.
Hmm.
So you can't get it twisted. How Mama said she want to be buried and
Or
not
cremated.
cremated. Don't you bury me, because that's what she gonna write in there. Don't you bury me, or don't you cremate me. Put me next to my husband. I want to be laid next to my mama in North Carolina. You understand? People have these stipulations,
Right.
but there's actually a place where you can put those stipulations. You'll be able to find account information, all of those things, like all of that is in one place.
That's
And
important.
it's very important. There's a
See,
lot of things that people don't understand. And I think that when we get certain clients that be like, this is what I want, and this is what you gonna give me. Ma'am, I don't come to your job telling you what to do.
nope.
So I'm gonna tell you what you qualify for, and I may can help you, and I may can't help you.
So what is usually the age you deal with? Because it says seniors. So you
Right.
deal with seniors or young people or
So now,
maybe.
sorry, go ahead.
Mhm. So you mainly deal with the family, or just like say you deal with the seniors, or you have to deal with their No, no. Okay. So you deal with seniors. Are you dealing with like people our age? Well,
Yeah,
okay.
our
I,
age, but like literally 0 to 85.
okay.
But we help seniors. That is really our audience, 50 plus.
Okay.
Okay. Young people treat insurance like a subscription. And
I
it's
believe,
just the facts.
I believe it.
It's not a subscription. You can't just turn it on and turn it off. You can't do that. This ain't Hulu. So that's most people 50 and over, once they reach a certain age, they start thinking about death. And they're like, some people want to prepare for it, and it's getting close to that time. It may happen, it may not. Not right now, may not for another 20, 30 years. People are living longer, especially women. Women are living into their hundreds.
Yeah.
You
See,
know,
I'm seeing that. That's a blessing.
women are living to be 108. What the lady in Harlem was 110, 112.
Remember the Delaney sisters, three doctors in different areas, and they were. I think when they died, they were like in their late
They
90s.
was, yes. So and women actually live longer than men. So a male policy is going to cost way more, not way more, but more than a woman's policy
Why? Why is that?
because men have a higher death expectancy. Their death, they have high rates of death. Men,
Right.
women live longer.
Right.
So a male policy is definitely going to be more expensive. And that's why it's important to get it young, or before you get sick. Most people start looking for insurance when they get sick,
Right.
and it's too late.
Wow. Um. What is another question? Um. We talked about that. Insurance coverage. Okay, we talked about that. Insurance coverage. Yeah. What is your addressing your concerns? What are your concerns? Because I have two more questions before we end the show. What is your concerns about life insurance?
One of my concerns is that people do not find it important. That's a concern of mine. The other concern I have is that people are now um there's a lot of misinformation out there about insurance, and people are, you know, playing sides, because they work for a certain company that's just this, and then they work for a certain company that just is this. And really, I don't, that's a concern for me because if a company just wants you to sell this, then of course they're going to tell you that the other product is not a good product. And so just to make sure that you're really like going to push this product. But what I found is that actually, it depends on how it is set up.
Hmm.
And that's why, insurance stacking is so important because any client I have, I'm like, let me see what I can get you. What's your lifestyle like? Like,
Mm.
what do you want to do in the next 10, 15, 20 years? Like, where do you want to see yourself financially? Do you have children? Do you plan to get married? Are you married now? Who is financially responsible for you? Who
Right.
are you responsible for? Like, so asking those type of questions are going to help me understand what needs to be put in place for you. I'm not gonna be like, I don't do that. Like, I don't, certain things like that. I don't want to be the person that has all the things. But if I'm dealing with a makeup artist or a cash-based business owner, I want to help them start preparing for a retirement. Because one, if you're a business owner, most people don't really even have, like, you're not gonna get a pension. We already talked about pension is disappearing.
Yes, it is.
You want to create your own pension. Why is everybody you know um relying on the government and on, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that you got money years from now? It's unnecessary. You can set up your own pension, you know
Right.
and you can do it with a whole life insurance policy, and you can have a term insurance policy. If you got a home, you want to make sure you got term, because what is a home mortgage is a 30-year mortgage. You got that mortgage for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about how families have to uproot themselves because the provider passes away, and now the whole family got to move
Out
because
of the
they
house.
finished paying their house. But if you had a $500,000 term insurance, then guess what? That's mortgage insurance, and your house is paid off, and your family don't got to move. They could stay in that home. They don't not only got to mourn your death and move to and mourn your money. So I think that's my concern, is people who choose a certain type of insurance over the other one, when it really is, you're a financial professional, you're actually a financial architect. You should be wanting to help as much as you can with as many products as you can. Financial professionals have so many tools.
So what about goop? You know, like how children, okay, like they have the go goober
Gerber.
Gerber insurance for
Yeah,
kids.
right.
Is what is what is the difference between that one?
So
When you
what so with Gerber is whole life as well. But I've known a lot of people who have paid for Gerber. I haven't heard a lot of amazing things about Gerber. I know that Gerber has a very good marketing and advertising, because as soon as they find out that you had a baby, they in your inbox, right? They don't play. They know who just had a baby, because they put that mail is in there as soon as you had that baby.
it's
So
like look, it's like AARP. When I was
they,
about 50,
mhm,
they sent me something in my mailbox. They sent me
yeah,
an email. Now that I didn't do it yet.
uh-huh,
55. They
mhm.
still sending me stuff. I'm like, they say you need to be here.
Yes. So it's all in the marketing, right? So and Gerber, like I said, they have you sign up for Gerber. The people come around when you laying in that bed, just had that baby. Them Gerber representatives come right in that room.
Really? I didn't know that.
Those people, yes. So but Gerber is also whole life. But I know a few agents who actually work with them, who have access to them. I'm more so, let's just get your baby a policy that's going to make her a millionaire by the time she's 25, 20, 30, 40. Let's set her up properly. I'm not really sure. I don't know too much about Gerber, but I do know that they're very good at advertising. They're great at advertising, for
Mhm.
sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
So is there a price that anyone that, like, if you come, say if you came to me, I have to how
Mhm.
much do you charge to do you charge or
No, no.
oh,
So I'm an agent. I represent the customer. I represent the client. Although I do have a bunch of different carriers that I work with, I prefer to be an agent where I represent you. So what I would, again, I'm customizing everything for you, and I want to make sure that I put you in the best plan possible, and so that you're happy and that you're not coming back to me 10 years from now telling me that you've been paying into this policy for so long, and where's your money, and why is my policy about to close, or things like that. So again, it goes according to your height, your weight, and your health, your date of birth, okay? And
Mhm.
also, if you are 69 years old in life insurance years, you're 70. So they
Right.
are going to charge you for being 70, not 69,
Right.
especially if your birthday is within 6 months of
Right.
the date of the policy issue.
So if they started in, see, my birthday's in January.
Right. So right now,
No, like
because
say, like someone starting in December, and they December. See, okay, like so. Last December I was 54. So this is December. January they would be charged for their actual birthday.
so in June you would be charged as if you are 55.
Okay,
You turn 55 in January, you said, or December.
2 weeks ago. No,
So
last
you're
month. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
so you're good. But like if you were trying to get a policy in June, July, you're already the next year.
Okay. Okay, I understand. Okay. So, advice for clients considering final expenses planning.
Hmm.
What advice do you have for the individuals who are considering final expenses
Hmm.
planning and maybe unsure where to start? Like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Do you have any savings? If you don't have any savings, you should definitely be paying into a final expense policy, because it's either you pay $50 to $100 now, or you pay 10,000 to 15,000 on unexpectedly, because that's really what it's going to boil down to. And I advise everyone, like I said before, to have a final expense policy, young or old, because
Hmm.
that is literally for that. You got your car insurance, you got your phone insurance, you got most people have.
Phone insurance?
You ain't got no insurance on your phone?
Oh no, that's through the company.
Right. You got phone insurance. Most people get insurance on their phone before they have life insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
So you should always be trying to figure out how you can get different policies. I met a lady, I couldn't sell her nothing. Cause she had insurance. She said she opened up her account and showed me she was going like this on her screen. Look, I'm paying. This is what I pay. This is where my money goes. My money goes into insurance. Most people, if they have a lot of insurance, they like, you could always have more.
Right.
I could always get more. But
Let
I
me
really was just like, all right, sis. Like I'm not even, you got it all. Like you really have everything. And the reason why she said that was because she was like, I don't want to depend on anybody. I
right.
use my insurances. If I ever lose my house, I can go right to my insurance and get me some money. If somebody passed away, I can help my family members.
Right.
So my advice is to always have a burial policy or a final expense policy, because what it's going to do is it's going to take care of your loved ones when you pass away.
Right.
They won't have to do a fish fry. They ain't got to beg the church. They ain't gotta go on GoFundMe and be all embarrassed to be begging strangers for money. Because I really don't think people are embarrassed. Because if you ain't embarrassed enough, because if you was embarrassed enough, you would have had. But most people don't even know their loved ones don't have a policy.
Until they get sick.
It happens.
Until they get sick to the hospital, and then
And
you're
now
like,
everyone's gonna start looking for the policy. The policy gonna appear somehow. So that's my advice. Get one. Get
get one.
get
So
a get
what's your final statements for everyone that's listening tonight? Because I'm so happy you talked about everything that I was dealing with a couple of months ago.
Mm,
Because my dad got sick.
hmm
We had all these, you know. what shocked me was he didn't want to be resuscitated.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Mhm.
I was shocked because I was
Mhm.
like saying, "Oh my God, this! I hope Daddy's not at death door."
Right.
Through, and I'm glad that he's healing and he's better, and we don't have to worry about that for a couple of years. Hopefully,
Right.
it's important to know. My whole process through this whole thing was, why didn't we, when y'all retired at 65, sit down with your children,
Mhm.
say, okay, I picked out one of your children to be the beneficiary.
Mhm.
Anybody need to fight? Sit down. This is what we do. So I know right now, if if anything happened, they have a crib. Not I don't know if that's what they call it. The outside, above crib, above the ground one. What they call it?
The mo
Mausoleum. Mausoleum.
mausoleum.
They have a
Right.
mausoleum. It's paid for, so we don't have to worry about that.
Right.
But
Uh-huh.
most people don't think ahead
No.
and say, I'm gonna die. I might never die right now, but
Right.
let's think about 25
Prepare
years.
for the future. Right.
And it's important to know this. And this, black folks, educate yourself. Other colors do the same thing, but we need to be educated early.
Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
my God.
And my advice, my last words is, and I will say it, don't play with it. Don't play with your financial future. I want to be able to help people understand the importance. Cause I mean, it's a really harsh reality. First to lose the loved one, and then to also have to mourn your money.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's too many things to have to get over. Because I think I made a post about this before. It was like, because all you're going to remember in your head is how many vacations that person went on, how many pocketbooks and shoes and all the hair and all the things that person had. And now you got to come out your pocket
To help.
to help when that person really was living la vida loca, living a life like it's golden their whole entire life, and they didn't have any insurance. That's the last thing you're going to. So don't worry about the math, because the people, I've been getting hit with that lately. The math is just not mathing. It's not making sense. What ain't gonna make sense is you begging people, strangers on a website to donate to your fund so that they could bury your mama that they don't even know. So you're begging for sympathy and for sympathy money because things weren't. And there's another thing too. If you know that your loved one, you're going to be the responsible one financially, there's a thing called insurable interest. And because that you will be burdened financially, you have insurable interest on that person, and you might as well start building that policy up right now and
Mhm.
get you a policy for auntie, uncle, whoever it is. And especially if you know that your family is not financially equipped to take care of a situation should it go down tomorrow, tonight, next week, those type of things. It's called insurable interest, and you're allowed to get a policy on anybody who you have insurable interest in, because you are going to be the one who is financially burdened when that time comes.
Because one last thing. It's like when I heard about Prince, I heard
Mhm,
about um James Brown.
mhm.
They couldn't be buried because they didn't do a will.
Yeah,
You
right.
would think because they are stars, they
You would
should
think they
have
have another.
everything. No.
No, there's people, literally, I went into, and I thought, I was like, I'm gonna go into these rich neighborhoods and I'm gonna go knock on their doors and see if they need help. Every last one of those people was telling me they had insurance through their job. Every last one of them. Now, after seeing how job security is so fragile in the United States, why would you sit here and tell a person that is coming to help you, I got insurance through my job?
Mhm.
the fragility of the financial market and job security is like, what are you even talking about? Like, you are going to depend on your employer who will get rid of you at the drop of a dime for insurance for your entire family.
Mm-mm.
So you're not gonna get nothing else.
Mm-mm.
And that's in rich neighborhoods they talking like that. And I even got laughed away at somebody's door. Like him and his wife just kikiing and laughing. And I'm like,
All
all
right.
right.
Don't
All right.
be knocking at my door.
Don't be looking for me because I can't help you. Y'all laughing now. But so that is my last little spiel. If you got life insurance for your job, you're still gonna need some more because the
So
jobs.
where do people find you? I mean, how do they find? Do they look up what you where you? How do they get in contact with you like that?
Yes. So I'm Coach Troi on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Facebook is just Troi Hawkins. You can look me up. But on TikTok and Instagram, Coach Troi. I'm also going to be starting my YouTube channel really soon, and it's also Coach Troi. So it's Coach Troi all the way around. Um, and on my TikTok, I talk a lot about like just financial stuff, like business credit, um,
Mhm.
and beauty businesses and things like that. So, but I'm going to start doing more content because I'm like, new year, new me, 2024. I got to start being more visible because, you know, this is what
Yeah,
I do. And,
and educating us because people need to know.
people need to know for sure.
Get your insurances. Get your insurance. Pay
Mm-hmm.
down on it. Don't let it relapse.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can have a good send off. Like my god brother passed last year. Wait, last year he had a, a horse.
A
The
horse and
glass.
carriage.
Yes,
That
I
costs money.
yes
That
horse
costs.
money. Yeah,
Horse
he
money.
had a look. It was gold. He had
Uh-huh.
a white casket,
Mhm.
gold. Yeah, the glass gold. It was like golden glass. And I said, wow, I couldn't, I was numb because it reminded
Yeah.
me of losing my brother. I couldn't even leave New York. I was numb. No more funerals for me for a while. If you're
Yeah.
not family and very, very close, I'm not going.
Mhm.
I got my brother, my favorite cousin, my god brother, and another friend. I was numb. I couldn't even come on the show and talk for
Wow.
a month. I was so numb, and I said, "God, please." And it's like then I started talking about the different stages of grieving,
Breathing.
and that's how it helped me to come on the
Right.
show and talking.
Right. Well, I'm
But I
glad you came back because we need you. We need this
I
platform.
need you too. I need you too because you come on tonight and
Shut
educate.
down.
It's
Yes.
important to know about life insurances.
Mhm. Yes.
And I thank you tonight, Troy, my road
Thank
dog,
you.
my home girl. We gotta go ice skating soon.
We do. We do. We need to hang out again like old times.
Yes. No, I don't like the
No,
Bronx.
I don't either, honey. I'm so over the Bronx. I don't even know what to do with myself right now.
I'm in Brooklyn now, and Brooklyn
But
is. I'm good. I'm good.
child, every time they have a skating party, it's in Brooklyn somewhere. Me and my cousin be trekking it down to Brooklyn to go skate with y'all. I'm
Let
like,
me know. I want to go. I want to go ice skating.
okay,
I
well,
want. I
I
want to go to Rockefeller Center or Flatbush. Brooklyn. No, Prospect Park. Let me
Prospect
know.
Park.
We'll go. We go ice skating. Get out. He wants to be a star. So
She wants-
anyway, Troy, thank you for coming on tonight
Thank
on
you for
Zxavier
having
Story.
me.
I will
Thank
bring you on again soon.
thank
And
you.
everyone, thank you for tuning into Xavier's journey. I'm so happy that my girlfriend came and educate, and educate.
Yes, thank you
All right,
for
everyone.
having me. Thank you.
Until we'll be coming on this Thursday interviewing this prophet that wrote a book about the 30 days of yes.
Mm.
Yes, Lord,
Mm.
and effective representation of who you are supposed to be in God. I
Oh,
can't
beautiful.
wait for that one. That's going to be
That's
awesome.
gonna be a good one.
That's going to be a good Thursday. It's going to be a little late, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
I have to work around his schedule.
Okay.
So everyone tune in. That's going to be blessed. Thank you for being a blessing to tune into my show tonight. And until next time, God bless, and may the Lord God bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you and give you peace. Good night,
Amen.
everyone.
Good night.